Good morning, everybody. Silas here today. I am out at the yard and my truck is already here. Last week on Friday I was loading trucks all day and he didn't get here till almost 10 o'clock, and he's usually not here till at least 9. So this morning I thought, well, I'll run by and grab that transmission before I head out there, and he's here early waiting on me today. I've had to wait on him a million times though, so he can wait on me for a few minutes while I get the loader warmed up. I've got a lot going on today, but I do have good news. I hired help and he's out here right now helping me to stack some tires in these truck beds so I can get them out of here. Oh, this dozer is right smack dab in my way, but I can't get it to move. It won't pull with me. It pulls up on all these logs and everything that's underneath it, and it keeps getting stuck and sliding off the forks. It rolls easy, but I can roll it that direction by shoving it, no problem, but I can't shove it forward because the blade digs in the ground. So I'm going to try to find something that I can hook onto here, and I don't know, maybe I really don't know what to do. I guess maybe I'll just wrap a chain around the blade and then pick it up and tow it backwards. I want to put it back there. So I guess we'll see, but I cannot find any of my chains. Did somebody steal them? I mean, they're just gone. This is crazy. I mean, I had 2 chains sitting right over there. Plus there was the one in the back of my truck, I thought, but I don't know. Evidently somebody needed them worse than I do. This chain here might work. It's not a real heavy duty chain. This here was the chain that was holding not that tree, but the tree that was over there. It was kind of split in the middle. It was like a V, and it was kind of rotted in the middle, and so they had that chain wrapped around it up in the air, holding it up, keeping it from falling in half for I don't know how many years, but long enough for that to happen. I'm really glad I took those trees out. That has been a game changer, not having to worry about those. Those things are just so big and so dangerous, and they were both rotted in the middle, so definitely glad to see those gone. There we go, that's much better. I got a little bit of trash down here on the ground I can pick up later. But got that wheeled up there, it rolled super easy. Pick this wheel up here and go ahead and pitch it in the scrap. I guess nobody wanted all this stuff I saved out of that van here a while back. So away it goes, and like this here was for a 60, I don't remember what year, but 60 something Chevelle. Rust-free tank, but he decided to go with a shiny stainless one instead, or aluminum or something like that instead of the original. But nobody wanted it either. I did get this 4.2 liter Jeep motor in. This is out of like an 80s CJ. I didn't know what it was, so when it came in, I just rolled it off his trailer, and that's why it kind of got tore up. The fan blade got bent, smashed the oil filter, kind of tore the fuel pump up a little bit. So I looked it up, and sure enough it is. And those 4.2 liters, they don't bring crazy money, but they do bring decent money if you strap them to a pallet. So maybe we'll get around to that later. Honestly, I'm hoping somebody will just buy it from me like it sits, and they can take it and list it and make all the money on it. I've got those tires sold. I got to get those off. I think they're coming to get those later today. And then of course we'll have all those gone later today. So looking pretty good out here. This car here, I was debating on crushing them over the weekend. I threw them on Marketplace, parting them out, And the gray one didn't have any interest, but I had a bunch of people interested in parts off of this one. So I told everybody to be here today to get what parts they need. So we'll see who shows up. As you guys know, I'm always headed out on an adventure somewhere. You never really know where I'm going to be next. I never know where I'm going to be next. But probably one of my biggest expenses that I have is fuel. So that's where Upside comes in. With the free Upside app, you're able to get cash back when you buy fuel, groceries, many other things. But obviously the main thing I use it for is diesel. I've been using Upside for a long time now, and it is very simple to use. The way it works is you just open up the free Upside app. Then you can search the area for what you're looking for. I was looking for diesel, so I found diesel right here at Love's. You simply tap claim offer, then you fill up like normal. And then when you're done, you tap I've paid, and that's it. Within 2 to 4 business days, your cashback will be in your account. Cashback is never far away because there are over 85,000 gas stations, grocery stores, and restaurants on the free Upside app. And yes, it's real cashback. It's not points or anything like that. It's actual cash back. What I like to use my cashback for is I usually just transfer it to PayPal, and that way it's in my PayPal card and I can go inside, I can buy snacks, buy a drink, whatever I want. But you can use your cashback to get gift cards, or you can just have it transferred to your bank account. There's a lot of different options. Frequent Upside users earn hundreds of dollars in cash back every year. Top Upside earners are making as much as $300 a month. To find out how much you could earn, click the link in the description to download Upside and use my promo code ADVENTURE and get an extra 25 cents back on every gallon on your first tank of gas. So thanks once again to Upside for sponsoring today's video. It's looking a lot better back here, getting all these wheels picked up. I'm not going to have room for a full truck bed, so we just partially loaded this one to dump in there, and I'll set it back over here. They're going to bring me another dumpster probably tomorrow, so I'll set the truck bed back over here, fill it full, and it looks like probably one more truck bed after that, and we'll be able to get rid of all these. He's over there now picking up all those electric motors where I just picked up all that other junk, so I'm trying to get it cleaned up out here. I got junk scattered everywhere, and now's a good time to get it organized, or halfway organized anyway. Well, I went ahead and made the executive decision. I'm going to go ahead and scrap these old lock boxes. I thought somebody might need them for something, but they're so heavy that you really just can't do much with them. And so I think I'm going to go ahead and fork those, stick them right there in that truck bed. That way the last truck of the day, I can dump them in the back of there and get a little bit extra weight. I tell you what, I had 5 people supposed to be here today and get parts off of this car. I was all excited because I had guys wanting the passenger doors, another guy wanted the driver's doors, another guy wanted the grill and the bumper, another guy wanted the headlights and the hood, another guy wanted the trunk deck and the rear bumper. I thought I was going to sell all sorts of stuff off this car, and not a single one of them showed up. One of them messaged me and said he wouldn't be here till about 9 or 10 o'clock tonight. He was supposed to be here at 10 o'clock this morning. And I said, no, we're not going to do that. I don't want to mess with it. That's cutting into my family time, so sorry. I have one more guy message me just now, said he wants the front clip off of it, so I guess we'll see if he shows up tomorrow. So that was 5 no-shows today. I've got the engine over here. Had a guy supposed to be here today around 4:30 to get it. He just messaged me and said he's not coming, so that's not going to happen. And then I have that transmission. That guy just flat out ghosted me. That was supposed to come get that today. So not 1 out of 7 people showed up. Everybody's always like, oh, you need to advertise and sell stuff. Well, this is what happens when you advertise and sell stuff, is you have to deal with this. My time is way too valuable to waste sitting around waiting. Now, luckily, I was here anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. But if I would have came out here and dedicated the day to meeting all these people, I'd be pretty hot. But anyway, I'm probably just going to go ahead, sell the transmission for a core. Tomorrow at the end of the day, I'll probably go ahead and crush both of the Volkswagens, get rid of those. And in fact, tomorrow, I think what I'm going to do is grab a can of spray paint and we're going to go around and we're going to mark some cars to crush. I'm just not really in the mood to sell stuff and to save stuff now. That really grinds my gears when people do this to me. So I'm in a crush mood now. I did just get these two in, an old Wayfarer, the hood's in the back of it, no rear end, just an art car. I'll have to put some headlight rings on it, cut it up for art. Kind of a neat body style, but there's no value to those things really. And then this big old boat here, I just thought it was a unique car. Once again, art, derby car, something, I don't know. The price was right, and I really wanted the Wayfarer, and so I didn't want to send my guy after him for just one car. It's a long drive, so I said I'll go ahead and buy both of them. The shipping doesn't get any cheaper to only haul one, so I mean, for what I paid extra to get this car, it was worth it. And then I got this in earlier as well. I bought this quite a while back actually, and we just now were able to meet up. Pretty cool little piece. I'll try to sell it all like this right here. The front half, I guess they were doing back in the 90s, they did a reimagination of the play Grease or something like that at the high school, so they used the front half of the car for that. But anyway, this is the remnants of it. If it doesn't sell whole, I'll go ahead and cut it somewhere by the back window and make a couch or something out of the back of it. Or I won't make a couch, but I'll sell it for that. But anyway, I'll be back out here tomorrow. We're gonna fire the crusher up. Got a lot of stuff done, so I'll show you some of that, and I guess we'll just see you in the morning. He beat me here this morning already. He already swapped out the dumpster, and they brought me a little bit bigger one this time, so that's good. So last night I went home and I thought things over. I decided what I'm gonna do. I did have somebody message me. They are on the way right now to get some parts off that Volkswagen. So not all is lost. And actually I have something over here that I threw in a car for junk the other day, and it was on Marketplace. Well, a guy messaged and said he wants it now. So now I got to drag it back out of the junk. That's the way it goes sometimes. But anyway, I thought things over, and I am gonna go ahead and mark some stuff to crush today. However, I'm not going to crush as much as what I would have yesterday. You got to see me on one of my bad days when I was not in a good mood. Yeah, right here, this exhaust. Get it out of there. Get that thing out of the way. There we go. I had a guy message me on this, I don't know, a month ago, and said he wanted more pictures of it. So I sent him more pictures and never heard from him again. So I just assumed he didn't want it. And here about 2-3 days ago, I threw it in scrap. And then out of nowhere, he messaged me back and said, hey, I've got time to run to Hutch today. I'll come get that. So he's on his way now. But anyway, I am going to go ahead and stick to my original plan of crushing 100 cars. So I've got 54 crushed. I've got a handful of cars right here that are going to be crushers. So I need to count these up and then see how many more I need to mark. 55, 56, 57. This truck here has a really nice front clip on it. The grill's kind of junky, the headlights and grill, but I mean the fenders and the bumper and the hood are all still pretty nice. And the grill's actually not too bad. The actual grill part of it, it's just this piece right here, and these headlights are messed up. So I might hang on to this for a little bit longer. That's a pretty easy sell for that stuff there. But if we're getting close to 100 and I need something, I may go ahead and grab that too. 58. I'm just gonna count those two frames together. I haven't had any interest at all in parts off of this car here, so it may go ahead and get the squeeze. In fact, you know what? Why not? We're just gonna go ahead and mark it. 59. This is that Nissan from out back. I've got to get the converters off of it. Yeah, that's an aftermarket there, unfortunately, but it still has the originals up here. We'll see if we can mark it on the side. There we go. What's left of this old Dodge will be number 61. Kind of a shame, rust-free truck bed on this thing, but nobody wants it. Oh, people want it, but I had one guy offer me $100 for it, and man, my time involved to pull that thing off there, and it's gonna bring probably about $60 for scrap. So the amount of time I'd have to invest into an extra $40 just ain't worth it. I do have a guy potentially gonna be here today to get the transmission off of it. I told him he's got to be here today if he wants it. Man, I made a mess with this thing. The roof ripped off of it when I picked it up, and then when I rolled over here now, it just dumped that stuff everywhere. I have a guy supposed to come get a bunch of parts off of this Geo sometime. He said he'd be here this spring, so I guess I'll hang on to it for now. But I do have this Mercedes here. I guess we'll go ahead and mark it. 62. Keeping all the old stuff for now. I've got that Camaro and a Mustang convertible back there. Both of those are ones I want to cut the noses off of and the trunks. I feel like they're fairly iconic 90s cars. So I'll hang on to those for now. I don't have time to really invest in cutting those up. I enjoy doing art, so I don't mind hanging on to them if I'm going to be cutting them up for art. I do not enjoy selling parts. So if it comes down to if that's all that's left on it is parts, it's probably going to get some spray paint. Okay, this is where we're going to get some cars marked. I know this one here is a good crusher, so we got, mark it up here so I can see it. 63. Some of these Mercedes, I got to look at the front of them, see if there's anything good on them. Like this in here is all messed up. The grill's broken. This is a good crusher. 64. I guess I should check for, yeah, the factory radio's gone. This in here, the grill's busted, missing headlights. It does have, yeah, it's got the factory radio. Believe it or not, those radios in these things, for some unknown reason, are worth really good money. So it's actually worth hanging on to. If I have time to pull that radio out, I will. Otherwise, I'll just let that car sit. We're gonna crush this one for sure. So we'll mark it. What are we at? 65. Let's mark it back here where we can see it. 65. I'm gonna hang on to the wagon for now. I think this in here can be a junker. Yeah, let's make a good junker. 66. This wagon I'm going to go ahead and junk. 67. This car is junk. I know there's parts on these, but like I say, woo, I just about fell. That air breather almost collapsed on me. 68. But I'm not into selling parts. When I first showed the video of these things when I got them all, I had tons of people emailing me wanting to buy them, and everybody was offering me $200 and $300 a piece for them. Just totally unrealistic. And then when I told them I can't sell them for that, I'll just have to crush them for more than that. They all told me I was inhumane and I was crazy and all this and that, blah blah blah. Basically what it boils down to is they wanted to save them, but they didn't want to spend the money to save them, and they didn't want me to make any money on them. So life goes on and they get the squeeze. 69. 70. This one here, I know it's kind of busted up on around the headlights, but I thought with this bull bar on the front of it, just so unique seeing a Mercedes with that, I am gonna cut the nose off of this one. Then that silver one over there is a two-door, so I guess I'll hang on to it. This gold one here, I don't know. You know what? I don't feel like messing with it. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and hang on to this two-door for now. That might be one I do later. And then both of these have pretty good looking noses on them that are still pretty well complete. So I guess I'll hang on to both of those for now. This one here, yeah, we'll go ahead and do it. And then this is another two-door over here. It's missing the headlight bezels, but it's got these little fog lights. It's a good looking nose, so I think I'll hang on to it. I thought for sure I was gonna mark more cars out of here. I'm only up to 72. Yeah, 72 right now. I know, we'll go ahead and mark this old Ford. Really the only thing on this that I want is this toolbox, and I can get that off of there easy enough. I thought somebody might want parts off of it being a four-wheel drive F-250, but nobody's really said anything on it other than you can't crush that. But you can't crush that isn't a tangible asset. That's just words. So 73. The reason why I'm marking the roofs, if I didn't make it clear, is so I can see which ones I marked from the air in the loader. This car here actually belonged to somebody else originally. They had it stored out here, but I talked to him here not too long ago, and he said he doesn't want to mess with it. Go ahead and get rid of it. So 74. It does have some copper and brass in it I need to get out, but other than that, it can go in the crusher. These are all old cars up in here. This truck is sold. I need to dig out. He might be here later today to get that. I'm hanging on to these for now. Those Jeeps, I want to cut the noses off of both of those. I want to cut the nose off the Cougar. This truck here, it's got a 22R in it, and it still turns. I don't know if I should save it or not. That's about the only good thing left on it is the motor. So I guess I'll look it up on eBay real quick, see what they're selling for. Well, I guess we'll save it. Good rebuildable engine cores on these are selling for about $500 to $600 plus freight. So I guess that's quite a bit more than what that'll bring for scraps. So I guess we'll hang on to it. And it's really not that hard to pull an engine. It's actually easier probably to pull an engine than it is to, say, strip out a dash or something like that. So that means I got to find 26 more cars somewhere. I may have to go ahead and bust out the saw and cut some noses off of a few to come up with the last remaining. This area here sure is looking good though. I mean, I need to finish this. I have my helper from yesterday is going to be here again today, and I have him going to be doing some other stuff, but if he gets done with that stuff in time, I may have him come over here and finish cleaning this up as well. I've got other stuff like this truck right here. It's got a good rebuildable core 360 in it, and it's got a good 9-inch in it. But other than that, there's really nothing left on this thing. Unfortunately, Sean is headed to Texas for the antique show, so he won't be able to help me. So everything's on me, and so me getting time to do everything and pull parts is just kind of a challenge. But here's one here I think we can go ahead and get rid of. This car here, everybody said I had to save this car, so I saved it. Everybody told me it was worth so much money, so I saved it. Nobody bought it, and so I went ahead and sold the nose off of it. And everybody says, oh, you can't, why'd you do that? That car was worth a fortune. Well, you need to at least part it out. So I listed it on all the Mercedes pages. I listed it on Marketplace, everywhere, parting it out. And the only thing I sold was the little bezel that goes around the temperature controls, and that's it. I had people ask about other parts, but nobody actually bought anything. So, 75. I got what I paid for the car back out of just the nose off of it, so everything else here is pure profit. I've got this Fiero. I probably should crush it, but once again, it's kind of a unique and iconic thing from the past, so I kind of want to cut the ends of it off. How cool would that be on the wall? If the guy cut it back there behind the headlights, it's kind of a lengthy wall hanger, but if you mounted it down low or something like that, that would be kind of cool. Actually, what that would be really good for is to make a desk. If a guy took it and kind of cut it back here and then kind of hollowed the hood out a little bit, you could put your chair right up in here, and you could build shelves underneath the hood in the front, paint it all up nice and bright red again like it was new. You can make that into a pretty neat little desk. If I went ahead and crushed that Volkswagen and that Suburban or Yukon or whatever that is, and this truck here and a couple others, I could come up with 80 pretty easy. So we'll see how the day goes. I'm gonna go ahead and fire up the equipment and get busy. Struggled this much. Well, I take that back, I have. Struggling today with these truck beds. It is windy out here right now. Crazy windy. Good morning, everybody. It is cold today. Yesterday afternoon at 2 o'clock, it was nice and sunny. It was 80 degrees. I mean, it was nice out. No wind, just a little bit of a light breeze. At 3 o'clock, their gust of wind hit. It started gusting at about 70 miles an hour out of the north. The wind did. And it was absolutely insane how windy it was out here. And when I left at 5 o'clock, it was down to 40 degrees, or 44 degrees. The wind blew all night long, and this morning, right now, the wind is still blowing, and right now, it is 6 degrees outside. Now, 6 degrees isn't that cold, but when you add in 30-mile-an-hour winds to that, it is absolutely brutal out there. My fingers are completely numb. I didn't bring my insulated gloves. I didn't realize it was supposed to be this cold outside. I thought it was supposed to be in the 30s and 40s today, but the weatherman totally missed it. We weren't supposed to get this much cold. Problem I'm having right now, luckily I did have my overalls in the truck, so I'm putting those on. The problem I'm having right now is that I have 2 people sitting out here right now that need unloaded, and I have 2 more people on their way with stuff that needs unloaded, and the loader won't move because I parked it with the radiator and the exhaust and everything facing right into the north wind. And so all of that just blowing right on that all night long and super cold like this. It's frozen solid. It started up, but it won't move. So I am not sure what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it a little bit more time, and if it doesn't warm up and start moving, I may have to lock everything back up here and go unload everybody at the other yard. But the problem is, if I do that, that loader is not as cold-blooded as this one, but it's still going to have to run for another 20 minutes. So I may not be able to unload these people for an hour. So I don't know. In the past, I used to always tell people, if it's cold, don't even bother showing up before 10 o'clock in the morning. And of course, everybody showed up at 8 o'clock in the morning. If I wouldn't have parked the loader the direction I parked it, I think it would be fine. But that was my mistake. And the weather did not say it was going to get this cold. But I do have some good news. Those Mercedes, I was going through crushing those. And of course, I posted pictures online and everybody was absolutely furious with me. They didn't want to buy them when they were for sale, when they've been here for the last 6 months. But now they're mad at me because, oh, how dare you do that? But one guy finally did decide to get off the pot and come do something. So he is supposed to be here in a little bit to buy one of those cars and save it. I have somebody interested in another one as well. So I won't be crushing all of them, but I will be crushing some of them anyway. But I guess I'm going to see if the loader will move. If it will, I'll get these people unloaded. If it won't, then I'll have to figure that one out. So this is where I'm at. I've got going forward and backwards, but when I try to steer, it's super. I have no hydraulics. So I'm not sure what's frozen, what's not working. Oh, there, it moved a tiny bit, but man, that doesn't sound good. I don't know what's going on. It's never done this before. But usually if I know it's going to be cold, I park it with the windshield facing into the cold. I just totally messed up parking it the direction I did. So I made a phone call to a guy and I said, what's going on with this thing? It's never done this before. And he says, you parked it out in the cold wind, didn't you? And I said, I did. It was blowing right on it. He said what it is there's a filter, or not a filter, but a screen that comes out of the pump on the hose or something like that. I didn't understand it exactly, but he said when it's really cold, if there's any moisture at all, if the fuel gels up or anything like that, it clogs that screen up. And he said there's not a whole lot you can do besides take it apart and clean that screen. He said to run it real slow and baby it, and don't use it hard. And he said it once it warmed up it would be fine, and sure enough, I just drove super slow, barely moved the hydraulics, and it worked fine. But here's what we got. All sorts of good stuff. Got a pair of rust-free 64 to 66 Chevy truck doors. Those will sell good, I'm sure. Then back here I got a GMC truck nose. This one here is a little bit beat up right here on the hood, which is unfortunate, but beggars can't be choosers. And then there's the tailgate off the same truck. I tried to buy the whole truck. It was a short bed GMC, but he said that what he does is he crushes a lot of farm equipment and tractors and combines and stuff like that, and you have to have a certain number of cars in the load or else they won't call it a load of crushed cars. And so he said he needed that truck to finish that load out, so he went ahead and crushed it. I did tell him on the next time he has one, if he can't save the truck, to at least cut the back of the bed off. That way I can have the whole setup to make a bench out of. But I do wish I could have saved that truck, but life goes on. Here's the nose that those doors came off of. That came off a big grain truck. It had a pretty nice hood, so he didn't cut that. He left it all together. And then here's an international hood that goes to this nose, and then these are the headlights and fenders for it. The last one of these I actually sold just the centerpiece, so I still have the hood and the headlights. So we'll see how it goes this time on that one as well. And then here's a pair of doors off of a grain truck, once again, late 40s, I think, like a 48, 49. And then over here is the nose off of the same truck. Once again, I tried to buy the cab and clip off of this truck, and he said it was too late. He done crushed it. But he did save this Studebaker for me. It's got a little bit of rust in this door, a little bit, I mean just a tiny bit back in the cab corner. Not bad at all. It's got a good looking nose on it. And then over here, this door is kind of messed up a little bit, but really overall, this is a very buildable cab. The roof is rock solid. Normally these rot out really bad up there on top. This one's all good. The floors are all good. So these are kind of hard to find that are still this clean. Even the fenders up in here are still good. They're not all rotted out like they usually are. So, oh, and the hood. Usually these hoods, it's got a little bit of bubble rust right here. It's kind of coming through, but usually these are just rotted out all the way across. So I was glad I was able to at least save this one. I'm not sure what motor's in this. I'm sure it's just the old 6-cylinder flathead that all these had, but I'm sure I'll be able to find a home for the sheet metal off of this. But my face and my fingers are frozen, so I'm going to hop in the loader. It's not making any noises now, and it seems to be working pretty good, so I think it's good to go. The crusher's been running for about an hour as well, so I'm going to go ahead and start crushing. I do have to pull off a few aluminum wheels, but I'll do that as I'm crushing. Man, I am striking out with equipment breaking on me today, or not breaking, but not working properly. I crushed all those bundles over there. I've got another partial bundle in the crusher, and I just now realized that my camera hasn't been recording any of it. So I guess you guys don't get to see all those get crushed, but I guess I'll hold it in my hand from now on. I had it up on the lid of the crusher so you guys could see a point of view of inside the crusher, but evidently it doesn't want to work that way today. This is the frame out of that Hummer that I bought a while back. I sold the motor, the transmission, and I have the rear end and the front end listed for sale still. And I got to thinking, I still have the body for this out back. So maybe that's what we're gonna do in this video here in just a minute. Once I get the next few cars crushed, is go ahead and dig out that body and crush a Hummer. I've never crushed a Hummer before. The antenna survived. Everybody talks about Volvos being super tough, but I'm telling you what, these Volkswagens, I cannot push the B-pillars in on these things. Way tougher than any Volvo I've ever seen. I can't do it. Any of these Volkswagens I've crushed, that wagon or that other sedan or this one, it just doesn't work. But with the Crusher, it doesn't really care. It crushes them all. I'm gonna go ahead and crush this one too. This one I'm gonna have to pull the motor though, because it's got two converters. Being a diesel, it's got one converter right here and then one underneath it. And to get that one off, it's just gonna be easier to go ahead and pull the engine. I'll probably get the excavator out and do that, but to do that, I've got to clean this mess up. Here's the converter off of the gray one that I crushed. I'm curious what it's worth. I'll have to look it up. What's that say? 131701DN. That one's actually kind of a low grade, not really a good one. They can't all be winners, that's okay. Over here though, I need to get this stuff picked up. I pulled a few Mercedes converters off today and some Hyundai converters. These Mercedes, these exhaust systems, the whole thing falls off and you can't hardly cut these with a Sawzall. So I'm gonna have to wait till I get my whiz wheel out to cut those. And there's all sorts of stuff laying around. These cars, half of them don't have door latches on them, so when you roll them over, they just dump stuff all over the ground. So I'm gonna get all this stuff cleaned up. I'm gonna have to pull the motor out of the other VW, and then over here, I was gonna see what motor's in this car. It's a diesel, and I think he said it runs. I'll get the hood open and see if it's all covered in rat nests, and if it looks like it's worth saving. If it is, I will. If it isn't, I won't. I don't know. I should probably save it, but we'll see how it goes. If I need a car, this one's gonna get the squeeze. I almost forgot. I'm supposed to take this to Fastenal. I almost completely spaced that off. That's somewhere my cable's up here. Need to strap it down so it doesn't blow away on me or fall out of the truck. I don't think it's gonna blow away. But yeah, I was supposed to do this the other day and I completely spaced it off because I was loading trucks. Because that's more important than, you know, doing this. But today is my last day that I can do it on the shipping order. He already paid for shipping, so I need to get it down there. And I got so preoccupied with everything else going on today that I almost forgot. But better late than never. Well, I am not going to have time to rip the engine out of that Volkswagen today. I'm back here. I have a guy wanting the nose off of a 55 to 57 Chevy truck, so I'm trying to see what I have, but I think I sold all the ones I had already. Those are, well, there might be one on that truck over there. I'll go look. Those are a pretty popular nose, really. But anyway, we are getting close. I think probably one more day, maybe two more of crushing, and I will be done crushing at this yard. I'm probably not going to get to 100 cars. I found out today that prices are probably going to drop $40 to $60 a ton. So at that point in time, it's not worth crushing stuff that I don't really want to crush. I was going back and forth about crushing some more of those Mercedes, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and crush the ones that I already drug out and processed and all that good stuff. Yeah, I do have one more nose right here on this one. I think that, yeah, this is a single headlight, so this is the right one. This truck right here. Oh yeah, that's perfect for him. I think he'll like that one there. I'll send him some pictures. But anyway, I've got about a load on the ground, and I'll probably crush 2 more loads. That'll be 1 more solid day of hauling. Even if I don't get them shipped before prices drop, that's okay. Tomorrow I'll be loading loads out of the other yard all day, but I am going to make a separate video about crushing those Mercedes just because I think it's unique enough, and I have kind of a neat idea for an intro for those. I have them all stacked up now in a pyramid, and I had this idea, and I think you guys are gonna enjoy it. One more thing I'm gonna do before I pull the equipment out of here is I got all these blue machines here, and I have a bunch by those Mercedes. I'm gonna get all those out of here. They wanted to buy those, said they would pay a little bit extra for them if I would just leave them whole. And then if I get time, I need to dig that square body 4-wheel drive back there out. I have a guy wanting to buy that for the chassis, but that's a maybe. I don't know that we're gonna get to that, but for sure I want to get those blue machines out of here. I think I have about 2 more cars in the row that are getting crushed. Well, I take that back. That Ford 4-wheel drive 3/4 ton that I marked to crush, I was looking, and man, that's got a pretty good nose on it, and the bumper is straight, the grill's perfect. And I thought, you know, that would make kind of a cool wall hanger, so I'm gonna go ahead and hold off on that. But I do still have that Prius sitting over there, so probably next time I'm over here, probably Monday or so, I'll get that out, get it cleaned out, and add it to the crusher pile. Then we'll crush the Mercedes, and then we'll go ahead and rip the motor out of that Volkswagen. And then I've got a couple trucks that are just about ready to go. And then after that, I am done here. I'm gonna take the crusher back to the other yard. I'm gonna be putting it in a different spot than where it used to be. I'm gonna kind of clean an area out and rock where I took all those old cars out in order to get the old crusher out. That's where I'm gonna put the new crusher at. Kind of a bad deal. I've got scratches all over this thing now. They don't stay new for very long, but we bought it to work, and so it's gonna work. But with that, I'm gonna let y'all go. I've got a few more things I gotta tidy up here. As always, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. And remember to get out there and find an adventure. And hopefully it's a little bit less chaotic than my week has been. We'll see you on the next one.